Hi, welcome to About Town. I'm Carol Brewster, your host, and today our subject is local blood drives. Our guests are Don Sarasolo, who's the organizer, the Hanson Police Chief, Michael Mix, and Melissa Lichen-Walter from Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Blood Center. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with you, Don.
Okay.
How did you begin to do this and organize?
Well, my wife is a patient at Dana-Farber, and I want to give something back to them because they have done so well with her. I donate platelets on a regular basis, and I got into organizing blood drives, especially during the summer, because the supply during the summer is usually pretty low. So I think it's a good way to help out.
So how long have you been doing it?
Probably I've been donating platelets for 16 years and organizing probably 3 years now.
So how's your wife doing now?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
They do a great job, don't they?
Yeah, yes they are. Yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah. Chief Mix, how did you hear about this?
Well, last year Don had a blood drive at the library, the Hanson Library Senior Center, and a number of the officers went down, and we donated in the morning, and we got to discussing locations, and I heard that, well, we need a level parking lot, and I have a nice station with a level parking lot on a main road with nice bathrooms and a waiting area with a TV, so it just seemed like a slightly better venue. Not that there was anything wrong with the Hanson Library and Senior Center, but it seemed like a little better venue and a little bit easier for people to take notice.
Yeah. And this particular one is a mobile bus. Is it called a bus or a truck or?
Bloodmobile.
Bloodmobile, okay. And it's the blood drive itself will be on Saturday, August 20th.
August 20th.
From 9 to 3.
9 to 3 at the Hanson Police Station.
You must have first-hand experience with some people that would require blood, and you know how important it is to be able to have that supply on hand.
Yeah, I didn't know the ups and downs of it, so to speak, of the supply, but I've recently learned that the summer is a high demand, and the month of October seems to be something.
August.
August.
That's okay.
Well, that would be part of the summer, but
Yeah.
Well, when we found out about the demand, and last year, I think we did it in August too, didn't we,
Yes.
Don? So it made sense to try and do it again here, right on Route 27. But as far as seeing the need for it, as officers, we usually accompany the fire department on ambulance calls, and a lot of times we're transporting patients who may be cancer patients, maybe having some difficulty with their chemo, et cetera. So we deal with that quite often, but I think more often we'd see it probably with trauma.
Yeah.
Car accidents, motorcycle accidents. The need's always there.
I don't know if it's my imagination, but it seems like there's more accidents in the summer. People are traveling more, they're doing more recreation. It just seems like that's part of it. And people are away, so they don't give blood on an ongoing basis as much in the summer, is my thought. Yeah. Melissa, what's involved with these programs?
With donating blood?
Yeah.
Well, actually, if I could back up 1 second and
Okay.
pick up on something you were just
Sure.
talking about, people on vacation, and one of the things that we try to point out in the summer months is make a donation before your vacation and try to get that mantra in people's minds. And we're very appreciative of the Hanson Police Department and all of Don's work to help us
Yes.
raise awareness and include blood drives in the month of August, because a lot of times businesses are slower because people are on vacation, and we always appreciate a lot of the police departments throughout the Southeast Massachusetts area that help support us with blood drives this time of year.
Yeah. Well, it seems like that local connection is very important.
Yes, it is. And that's one of the things that we like to point out. The Bloodmobile that you were speaking of that we take out, it's a 42-foot long self-contained donor center. And the only thing we don't have on it, as the chief mentioned, is the nice bathrooms. So when we work with sponsors, those are the kind of things. We're looking for a place that's nice and flat and has restrooms that the donors and the staff can use. And it's self-contained, so it's easy to go out and collect the blood. And getting back to being local, the Kraft Family Blood Donor Center at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Brigham and Women's Hospital is the official name of our donor center. And then our Bloodmobile is the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Brigham and Women's Hospital Bloodmobile. So just a little bit of a mouthful. But it's a beautiful vehicle, and all of the blood that we collect on our Bloodmobile, and then all of the blood and platelets that we collect, like Dawn donates platelets in our donor center, all of that stays local.
Right.
And that's one of the important things that we like to stress, that you're helping pay it forward to someone locally who needs it, because all the blood and platelets stay and benefit patients at Dana-Farber and Brigham and Women's Hospital.
I'm surprised that the hospitals are connected in that way.
Oh, Brigham and Dana-Farber have had a long-standing history of collaboration, and so there's the Brigham and Women's not only has the inpatient hospital, and Dana-Farber is an outpatient hospital, but then there's the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center, which for any patients who are cancer patients who need to be inpatient, they have the ability to be inpatient physically in the Brigham, but still covered under the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center. So there, we have a long-standing commitment and connection and collaboration. And actually, our platelet donor program, and I don't know if it was when before, well, yeah, you would have been involved in it. The Dana-Farber started the platelet donor program that we have, and Brigham and Women's had started the whole blood donor program, and we merged them 4 years ago, right after I got here. But prior to that, they had actually been two separate programs, but yet working together, and so by bringing us together in one physical location, we've been able to continue to grow.
Are people able to donate platelets at the mobile?
No. Platelets are done on a special machine, and it takes longer. It's a single-use needle, single-use kit. The kit's set inside a machine, and it's able to collect just the platelets, which are your body's Band-Aids, and then gently return everything like the blood, red cells, and plasma back to the donor. And so it takes a little bit longer, but as many of our loyal platelet donors know, you can do it quite often. You can do it every other week. They get to relax, watch a movie, have some quiet time to themselves, and pay it forward in such a unique way.
Has that been your experience, Dawn?
Yeah.
Is it relaxing and
it's a great feeling. It's again, I thought it was every week.
Well, technically you can do it every, and Don's right, you can donate it every week. And our regular donors who do it on a regular basis, we encourage them to donate every other week, because the guideline is you can donate 24 times in a rolling 12-month period. So by doing it every other week, you can have a nice regular schedule. And so many of our loyal donors, we probably have 150 to or so donors who are like family, because they've been donating for so long on a regular basis, and they'll come anywhere between 15 and 24 times in a year.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a great feeling. I think it's a highlight for me, because you've given something back.
Yes.
They've given so much to my wife and myself, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
And I understand that it was the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Center was created by the Kraft family, or they donated money to.
It was, I
because of some
believe,
situation that they were in, or a friend of theirs was in.
I'm not sure what the motivation
attention.
was. I know that for a long time, Robert Kraft was heavily involved with the formation and execution of the blood bank when Dana-Farber maintained their own blood bank. And so the Krafts have had a long-standing, over 31-year tradition of being involved with the Dana-Farber for that for the blood bank. And then the late Myra Kraft was involved as a trustee at Brigham and Women's for many years. And then 31 years ago, it became the Kraft Family Blood Donor Center. And I believe it was 31 or 32 years ago. So it even predates the Kraft's involvement with...
And I think there are the Friends of the Kraft Donor Center now that help.
The Friends of Dana-Farber, the Bloodmobile that we're bringing out to the Hanson Police Department blood drive was funded by the Friends of Dana-Farber and the Friends of Brigham and Women's.
Right.
So we were very humbled to be entrusted with that donation from them, because that was also another very unique way that those two Friends organizations collaborated. It was the first time they had ever collaborated on a project together. And they actually funded our Bloodmobile, which has allowed us to increase the ability to go out into communities like Hanson and to come down and bring our wonderful Bloodmobile out and give community members an opportunity to support their local law enforcement by donating and paying it forward, and to their neighbors by paying it forward by donating blood.
So Chief Mix, some of your offices donate on a regular basis, or when these
Well, we did last year.
Yes.
I'm not up on how often and what we can do, but they did participate last year, and I think for no other reason than we actually used the electronic message board. That's how I found out about it, to put the word out. And we all got up on Saturday morning, came down and saw Dawn, and
Great job.
got our juice and our cookies.
Gotta have juice and cookies.
Yeah, how many units do you generally receive on a...
You can collect 1 unit of blood from a patient or from a donor, and that's about a pint. So you've always heard like a pint.
Right.
And so it's about a pint of whole blood. And we collect that on the Bloodmobile. Most drives average somewhere between 30 and 60 units, depending on how many people show up. You can donate 4 times a year. There are different reasons why people can and can't donate. We always encourage people to email us if they have questions about eligibility, and our email address is blooddonor@partners.org, or you can go on Facebook or Google Kraft Family Blood Donor Center and find our information as well to get more information about eligibility. We always encourage people to reach out and ask us questions rather than just say, oh, well, I know I can't donate, because a lot of people think if they have, like a lot of women of my age are not able to, or they have to have thyroid medication, and they think, oh, well, I'm on certain medications. And a lot of times, it's not the medications that keep you from donating. If you're diabetic and your diabetes is under control, same thing with high blood pressure. If you're on high blood pressure medication and you're under control and you're healthy, you can still donate usually.
What kinds of things do they screen for if you go in to make sure that...
The list is too numerous for me to commit to memory, because it's about 17 to 18 different things that the blood is screened for. But our primary focus is to make sure that we maintain a safe, pure, and adequate blood supply. And that's what we're able to do by doing the screening and having it be safe, and our adequate blood supply by having the support of people like Don and the chief and the Hanson Police Department by supporting blood donation this summer.
I remember hearing old wives' tales, or whatever you'd call them, about how maybe you'd catch something if you donated blood, or people were afraid to come in, particularly.
Yes, people have a fear of needles many times, and many donors say it's like if you take a rubber band around your wrist and you snap that, that's what the little pinch feels like. And it's a single-use needle, single-use kit, and so anything that the donor comes in contact with the donor is disposed of safely in a biohazard. And then the blood is taken, and then it's tested, and then it's labeled, and then it's moved into inventory.
And how long will that blood last?
Whole blood generally lasts 42 days on the shelf, unless it's aliquoted or put into smaller bags for babies, and then those last usually 10 to 20 days. And you can donate blood every 56 days. So even if you're donating every 56 days, you can't quite catch up to how often the blood shelf life is for.
Yeah. So what would somebody experience? What would the experience be like if they came down on Saturday, and what would happen?
Well, hopefully the first thing is they get greeted by a friendly face and ask if they have donated blood before and if they've had a meal, because it's very important to be well hydrated and eat meals before donating blood. Some people think like a blood test you shouldn't eat before, but you absolutely should have a good meal before you donate. And then they do have reading material that we ask them to read through about different medications and things to think about, and maybe some travel restrictions that might impact them. And then they do some questions that they answer, and then the collection team will go through those with them and ask them if they have any questions, and go through those to see if they're able and eligible to donate. Then they do a small mini physical. So we check their pulse, their temperature, their blood pressure, and their iron level to make sure that and also kind of like look at the potential donor and talk with them to make sure that they're feeling well and healthy that day.
And actually, they're getting a little mini screening.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is good for them.
Yes.
And I understand you're giving away prizes.
Oh, we have many good things that we give away to say thank you to our donors. And right now, one of the things that we're bringing out is a set of portable speakers that you can plug into your phone or your tablet with the jack. And it's just a fun little thing to say thank you so much for being a donor.
That's great. So it sounds like that you constantly need a resupply if there's a shelf life and
yes, the need is really constant, and one of the things is we like people to remember that oftentimes they're motivated because they know someone who needs blood, or they hear of something that an accident or some of the unfortunate tragedies we've had throughout the United States do tend to raise awareness to the need to donate. The thing to remember is all the blood needs to be on the shelf before there's a tragedy or a trauma. And stepping back to the Boston Marathon, all the blood that was needed to treat the patients that were transported to the hospital was already on the shelf because someone had donated it in the days and weeks prior to that event occurring. We were hugely appreciative of everyone who it raised their awareness of the need to donate, but because there's a limited shelf life, you don't want to take in more blood than you can utilize, and that was something that we wanted to, as good stewards of the blood supply, make sure we didn't collect too much.
So it's always a
challenge to balance,
act.
because you never want to tell someone, no, we don't need your blood right now, but we also have a responsibility to be good stewards and not collect blood that we know we don't necessarily need right now, but if you could schedule an appointment for a week or 2 weeks or next month so that we can make sure and collect that.
So there isn't really a way to separate the blood or freeze it, or it has to be whole and...
It has to be maintained in a special environment and temperature-controlled environment. There is an ability to freeze blood, but that's only used in rare cases of rare blood types, and it's again not a common practice because the act of freezing it and then having to thaw it and deglyss it and all the other technical things that they have to do in the blood bank to make it a viable product again, it doesn't have as much potential as blood has when it's fresh.
Oh, so it's...
And that's why a lot of people who get concerned, because a lot of women get deferred because their iron's low, and they're like, well, I'm okay if I'm low, I don't mind it. But it's a double-edged sword in the sense that there's an expected outcome from a unit of blood, and because the donor's blood has to be at a certain level so that when that blood is given to the patient, that amount of iron is in there.
And they get the full benefit.
They get the full benefit, exactly,
Generally they're sick,
Right,
anyway.
and
so,
the reason they're getting a transfusion is component therapy has become much more advanced, and they're becoming more aware of the less you transfuse, the better. So, making sure that you can get the full impact from the unit that's being transfused. Exactly.
yeah. Are there any things in the future that are coming up that will help you with the blood supply and to maybe
By
be able
doing
to-
more outreach and
just more
education,
outreach.
and most people donate because somebody asked, and so we just like everybody to consider themselves asked to donate
Yeah.
and to pay it forward and join us at the blood drive.
Yeah. And how many blood drives have you organized?
5
5.
so far. Yeah, in 3 years, it's been 5. Yeah, and it's again, it's a challenge during the summer,
Yes.
and it's great that you're giving us this opportunity to reach out to the people.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
Yes, you're welcome. I understand that you also went to, is it a meeting with the chiefs of police in the area, and also tried to recruit other people, Mike?
Yeah, we had, I belong to the Southeastern Mass Chiefs
Okay.
of Police Association. We had, that covers chiefs in Plymouth, Bristol, Norfolk, Barnstable counties, and the islands. So it's about 150 members, and yeah, you came to a meeting and explained to us what you need and how we can help, and I believe you're going to be doing one in Hanover in the
Oh,
not
yes.
too distant future.
And we've also had the opportunity to go to the police academy at Plymouth and had a very successful drive with the cadets there.
Good.
And we've also been to Dover, and please forgive me, chiefs, I forget. We've had a wonderful outpouring of support from law enforcement. I had the opportunity, like you're saying, Southeast Massachusetts Chief of Police Association, and also the Norfolk County Chiefs of Police, and spoke with them. And so we've been very fortunate to partner with many of them in support of blood donation.
Did you go, have you gone to businesses as well, like companies? And
Oh, we do that all the time.
Yeah.
That's a regular course of business, yes.
Yeah. Huh. So when a person comes in, how long would it usually take them to go through the process? And
It takes about an hour. We tell
Does it?
people to budget an hour. That way, if you get out sooner, you're happy.
yeah, okay. But not all of that is the process of drawing the blood.
No,
because-
no, no. As I was mentioning before, you come in, there's some reading material, then you have questions to answer, and then when you're in the interview process with the collection team, that can take anywhere from a few minutes to, if there's some questions that the donor has, it might take a little bit longer. The actual collection process time takes usually between 8 and 12 minutes. And then, of course, as the chief mentioned, there's juice and cookie time.
Yeah,
Have to have juice and cookie time at the end, too.
that's great. Is there anything else that you think is important that you should bring up?
I personally would like to thank Chief Mish for giving us the opportunity
Yes.
to use that facility. Thank you, sir.
You're more than welcome. I'm just a host. You're the one who does all the work. So I'm more than willing to help out. And again, I hope
Yeah.
everybody can come out and we get a good attendance, and maybe we can make sure that that's a parking space for you at least annually.
That'd be
Yes,
wonderful.
that would
Good.
be
Yep.
wonderful, yes.
Yep.
So, Melissa,
Yes.
how many people, how many units of blood will you get in each drive? What's the average unit of blood that?
Right now, we're averaging, very fortunately, up around 28, which is much higher than it was last year. It was about 22. This year, we're up averaging around 28. So we're very
that's an
appreciative of
improvement. Yeah.
the donors that are coming out and supporting our patients. We can usually see up to about 60 to 70 donors in a 6-hour blood
How many
drive.
chairs do you have in there?
Our blood mobile is 3 screening rooms and has 5 collection beds,
Oh,
and
wow.
is very comfortable and airy, and it doesn't still have the new car's smell because it's only 3.5 years old, but it's still a nice,
State of the art.
bright, shiny
That's
vehicle.
great. That's great.
And most everyone's been comfortable on it. That's the thing that a lot of people say. They don't feel claustrophobic in it because sometimes people are like, oh, what if the ceiling's too low? We've got some very tall techs, Rick, and
Yeah.
doesn't have to duck.
So how many personnel on the?
Generally speaking, we take anywhere from 4 to 7 technicians out, depending on what the expectation of the drive is.
Right.
We often use a program called Sign Up Genius, and so many of the blood drives will have online scheduling available to them. And if people do that, then we can know and better staff the drive based on the appointments. And we
Right.
do encourage people, if there are appointments and an online scheduling available, to use that, so that we want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Is there anything you'd like to add about any experiences that you've had on these blood drives that have been?
I can't think of anything, but other than every one of them have been, good feeling type
Right.
experiences.
Okay.
I appreciate the staff that they have at Dana-Farber for the
Right.
for the blood collection that they do.
Okay.
They're very good staff.
And you're pretty good too.
Oh no.
That's one of the fun things about our donor program and being in a hospital-based blood donor program is getting to know the regular donors and also the patients.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes there's some big overlap for us.
Yeah. We have about 3 minutes left. So if you had any experiences that are,
I would just like to reiterate that it's very important to be well hydrated. One of the things we're finding, we had a firefighter who came in to donate today, and he worked yesterday and was a little dehydrated today. So it was like, you really, even though you think you're drinking enough water, this time of year in the heat and humidity, when it's hazy, hot, and humid and horrid out, you really have to hydrate
Right.
yourself.
and it's been especially bad this week.
People are having headaches and they're like, I don't understand why I have a headache, and it's because you're dehydrated. So please,
And if you're dehydrated, you may end up feeling faint.
well, you really usually
Yeah.
can't donate.
Right.
So we encourage people to drink lots of water, and
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming in today. It's
Thank
very
you.
Thank you for
important.
having us.
We want to remind folks how important these blood drives are to the local community and the blood supply in Massachusetts. And please remember the next one will be on Saturday at the Hanson Police Station, Saturday, August 20th, between 9 and 3. And you'll have a chance to become a hero to somebody in need by doing this. This is Carol Brewster for About Town. Thanks for watching.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.